everyone and welcome back to Mariana Mas Books. My name is Mariana and today I am going to do a quick HISTORATHON 2023 update. Today I don't look my best, my bed doesn't look my best because it's not made, and I am in my pajamas, and I don't look my best because I don't feel my best. But I am tired of not filming because I don't feel my best, and I have been disappeared from booktube and I don't like it. So I'm doing a HISTORATHON update because I have also been disappeared from HISTORATHON. If you have seen my channel before, you know that HISTORATHON 2023 is a year-long reading event that promotes reading non-fiction history. It is created by Vin at Revenant Reads, and we are a bunch of co-hosts. I am actually one of the co-hosts, and I have been a terrible co-host since I got COVID because I haven't filmed any videos. I haven't been active in Discord or Voxer or anywhere. I actually did film a HISTORATHON update that I uploaded, but it was in my previous video, and I think that people who only watch my HISTORATHON videos didn't realize that I had updated my HISTORATHON reading in my previous video, which was a COVID update. So I decided to film this separate video where I will talk about my HISTORATHON reading, HISTORATHON plans, etc. If you watched my previous video, then you know that I told you that I haven't been reading a lot of history. I haven't been reading a lot of non-fiction. I have basically been reading fantasy only, and that is because I am in a not a great mood in life, not very motivated, and I have always been escapist in my reading, but lately I have been super duper escapist. Like, I literally need to escape from real life. Oh, also, you are probably going to hear noises, outside noises, but it's super hot here and I'm not closing the window. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, escapism. Yes, I have been very escapist in my reading, and I am reading literally to escape life. So I haven't been reading a lot of non-fiction. Yes, I think I already said that. So I hadn't been in the mood to read history, but I am a co-host and I do like reading history. And so what I thought was, you know what, I'm going to read audiobooks, and you know, in my Kindle reading I'll just stick to fantasy and such. If you have been watching my HISTORATHON, oh god, the sun, okay, if you have been I'll hurry up. If you have been watching my HISTORATHON videos, you know that I've been focusing on Mesoamerican history. I am from Mexico, and I really liked the idea of focusing on Mesoamerican history and later on Mexican history. But because I have been in a very escapist mood, I hadn't been in a mood to read Mesoamerica or anything because that is just too close to reality. Like the classic excuse of it feels like school, which usually I don't feel like that because it's super interesting, but because I'm feeling so low and I just want pure pleasure in my reading, I was like, oh, I don't feel like reading Mesoamerica. So originally I was in the mood of, I'm going to stick to audio and I'm going to stick to my favorite thing, which is medieval Europe. You know, I'm a fantasy reader. I love the Lord of the Rings. Yes, my love of medieval history comes from my love of medieval fantasy. That's just how it is. And my plans were going to be very minimal. They are still minimal, but they were even more minimal. So my plans were going to be just 2 audiobooks, finish Powers and Thrones by Dan Jones, which I am really enjoying. reread Children of Ash and Elm by Neil Price, which I read last year, and if you have watched my channel, you're probably sick of me talking about that book, but I wanted to reread it, but now in audiobook, because I had actually started that book in audio and I was loving it, and so I ordered the hardcover, which I'm so glad I did because it's so beautiful. But I want to reread it, and I thought, oh, you know what, I'm going to try the audiobook this time. Since I don't have to buy it, it's available in my subscription, and I would like to listen to it because I remember really enjoying it. So those were my plans, and those are my most sure plans. However, there is a change that made me want to read Mesoamerican. So the other day we were at a family dinner, family meaning just my parents, my sisters, me, and we were talking, and I don't remember why, don't ask me why, but the topic of human sacrifices came up. It sounds weird, but the conversation led to there. I don't remember what we were talking about. We were talking about human sacrifices, not in Mesoamerica necessarily, and my dad brought up the topic of human sacrifices within the Aztecs, and he was talking about a lot of myths surrounding sacrifices and human sacrifice in the Aztecs. There is a lot of myths that we learn here in elementary school about like the romanticized version of the sacrifices that I'm assuming we are taught in order to romanticize our, past, as people do, like if you're from the US, the story of Paul Revere, and I feel like countries always have romanticized myths about their own history. And so my dad started sharing these myths as if they were facts. And because I really like history, and because I have read not a ton, I'm not an expert, but more than my dad, I corrected him. And I told him, oh, actually, that's not true, that's a myth, blah, blah, blah. And he started mansplaining me about how there were tons of historical sources that proved that what he was saying was correct. And of course, he didn't cite any of his historical sources. So I thought I want to go back to historical sources and follow up on that conversation to give him the evidence on why he is wrong. And so that has motivated me to read again Mesoamerican history. And again, I'm still feeling like not the best, so I am not sure how much I'm going to be able to read, especially in this quarter, because I suddenly realized that I have already missed an entire month and a couple of weeks of this quarter. And I was like, oh my god, I hadn't realized. So, I'm not sure how it's going to go, but this is how reading plans videos work, right? We tell you the plans and then we don't follow them. So, as of now, the one book I'm making it easy for myself. The one book I'm like, okay, I actually literally bought that book to correct my father. And it's a super tiny book, super easy book. I'm making things easy for myself. But it's actually a compilation, myths and truths about archaeology in Mexico. We have a magazine called Arqueología Mexicana, which is Mexican archaeology. And there is this archaeologist, very recognized archaeologist, historian, Eduardo Matos Moctezuma, and he had a column in that magazine where it was like the format is a question, like, did the Aztecs really blah blah blah, that type of thing, and then he would answer. So it's short column, So this book is a compilation of those columns, and one of the questions that it has is about the human sacrifices and about one of the myths that my dad was talking about, and it has a lot of other very interesting myths and even things that I'm like, oh, I don't know if that if that is a myth or a truth. So I don't want to read that one. It's super short and it's a super easy format, just question and answer, and that is my main one. There is another one about specifically Aztecs and human sacrifices, but I want to add that one to my next quarter TBR, because next quarter I will be focusing on Aztecs and the conquests and all of that. But for these, so very simple plans, you know, 2 audiobooks, Powers and Thrones, Children of Ashen Elm, and this tiny Q&A book. So they are very simple plans, but I have a month and a few weeks, so watch me fail those plans when I do my wrap up. But I wanted to do the update, so yeah. I think I will leave it at that because I'm hungry and I'm tired and I want to lay down for a bit. So, thank you for watching. I will see you hopefully soon. I'm tired of not filming and not uploading. But whatever happens, in the meantime, I wish you happy reading.